So I'm going to record this. So I'll just tell you a little bit about myself to warm everybody up, and then you each can just say a little bit about yourself. So this is myself, my husband, and one of my daughters. I have Green Toe Ground Farm. So this is actually our 20th year anniversary of our farm, which is pretty exciting. And I actually came to Organic Grower School first as a grower. So, we attended some events from Organic Grower School as growers, started presenting at conferences and things like that. And then 6 years, I guess I'm going into year 7, I started working part-time for Organic Grower School doing their farmer training program. And so our farm is a diversified vegetable farm. We are in Burnsville, North Carolina, which is an hour north of Asheville. We sort of market in the Asheville region and in our local county as well. We own 16 acres of land, but we farm maybe about six acres in a few different places. So I'm super passionate about farming, obviously, and that informs a lot of the work that I do with Organic Grower School and really wanting to support people to be successful. Just very passionate about marrying people's values with their farm and like how to make their dreams become reality, and also for it to still be satisfying and not run you into the ground. So that's kind of the perspective I bring. We're not originally from North Carolina. We're originally from New York, and actually had been farming there as well prior to moving to North Carolina. So I will just invite each of you to just, say your name and your pronouns if you like, where you're located, and if you're farming, what are you farming? And then I guess Jordan, or I see you switched your name. Okay, Dana. Keeping us on our toes. Just why you signed up for tonight's info session, if you don't mind saying, and that'll just help me maybe tailor the presentation a little bit to you. So you don't have to be put on the spot and start. So maybe I'll have Amanda start, and then we'll go to you, Dana, and then Stephanie.
Okay, my name's Amanda. I farm, as of a month ago, I farm 3-ish acres in Wake County, North Carolina. And we do vegetables. And right now we have pumpkins in the ground, which is really exciting. And I'm finishing up the Farm Beginnings course right now.
Awesome. Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm on my husband's computer. His name's Jordan, but I'm Dana. So that's that. I'm in Swannanoa, just east of Asheville, North Carolina. And it feels like kind of a fraud to call it farming. I'm gardening in my backyard, and just vegetables. This is my second year with the garden, and it's been really, really fun. I actually just moved to North Carolina in September of last year from Denver. So in terms of like farming, it's honestly way better out here. So that's been really fun. I've grown things that I had zero luck growing there. And I signed up for tonight's session really just to get some more information if this is the class for me. I'm a full-time clinical social worker. I do addiction work with folks in a psychiatry department, and have done that for a while, and am really, really, really hoping to come up for air and have a break from psychiatry and from social work for maybe ever, but at least for a while. And I'm hoping, actually, my big goal is to get some land and to start a campground. I have 6 sheep also, and love animals, and want to have more room for my sheep as well. And then the campground's kind of a side thing. And of course, then I also want to really expand my gardening or farming at that point. So I'm really very, very much a baby beginner, know nothing type gardener. I took an online class from Wild Abundance that was really awesome. and then heard about Organic Grower School, and I'm just interested in learning more and seeing if I could make this a bigger part of my life.
Great, thank you. Did you say you had sheep? It went out for a minute for me.
Yeah, I have 6 wool sheep.
Okay, that's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, they're like so fun.
Yeah, we have kept sheep through the years and still have a couple, and yeah, they are really fun. All right, Stephanie.
Okay, I'm on headphones. I just want to make sure you can hear me. Okay, good. My name is Stephanie, she, hers. I'm in Marshall, North Carolina. We have the Appalachian Farmstead, and we graduated Farm Beginnings 2020. I think just the last maybe class before yours, Amanda. We were also very, very new. We had been in finance. My husband and I are doing this operation together. We have a 1/10 of an acre veggie garden. I call it our market garden. So growing on a really small space, but we launched value-added products last year and have been collaborating with other farms in the area to bring value-added sauces and value-added spices to market, so that we're not just focused on everything that we grow, but also sourcing from other local farms. We were both in finance for about 15 years before we got into farming, and this is our 3rd year growing in North Carolina, 2nd year going to market and selling vegetables, sauces, and spices.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm having a little bit of lag on my audio, so apologies on that. But yeah, so I think I heard everyone. So I'm gonna assume, Dana, then you've never done a program at Organic Grower School, is that correct?
Yeah, no, correct. I never have.
Okay. Well, I'll try to make this piece brief, but I usually do like to kind of have a little overview of OGS. So this is, I think we're going into our 28th year, and our mission is to inspire, educate, and support people to farm, garden, and live organically. And so in farmer programs, which is what Farm Beginnings is a part of, our goal is to increase the number of viable organic farmers in Western North Carolina. And, the vision for supporting individual people is to create a mutually supportive network of prosperous farmers and gardeners. And that hopefully that will create, a robust, healthy community. So that's kind of like the big picture mission. We've also really started to dive into our commitment to social justice in the last few years. And so this is very wordy, but basically, we're just really start understanding that our work with growers and farmers in seeking to transform the food system really needs to consider equity and historical, racial, and systemic racism. So we've really started to, these last years, really prioritizing social justice and inclusivity. And that kind of shows up in a lot of different ways, externally in our programs and sort of internally in the work that we do. So just wanted to sort of name that. And so, one of the big pieces with farming is that it's a journey. And there's all different stages for where people are along the way. And hopefully our goal with Organic Grower School is to provide some kind of support at whatever stage you're at. So there's like emerging, there's in training, startup, and then seasoned. And I would say sort of the in training and startup is kind of the farm beginnings part where that training could come in. It could be where someone has a little bit of gardening experience or working on farms or nurseries or in forestry, and then they really want to start maybe to consider connecting their livelihood or creating a business. And so that's really the goal of Farm Beginnings, is to help people understand how they can do that. So the Farm Beginnings Collaborative, or Farm Beginnings, is a part of a national collaborative, and that's, I think, kind of a really unique and special thing that is great for us as teachers at Organic Grower School, because we're really connected to the whole sustainable ag world. And it's a farmer training model that's community-based, rooted in sustainable and equitable principles, and farmer-led. So it's been going on since the late 90s, and it's in 10 states and 13 organizations. And one of the things that's great about the collaborative is that we've been really robust about tracking participants, and there's a very high success rate of folks staying involved in farming and food production, which of course is what we want to see. So the Farm Beginnings class really is a decision-making process that's going to help lead you towards making your farm dreams a reality. And I just put this little quote here, but I've brought my students in today and graduates to speak directly. But, you know, it's not a class that's going to teach you how to grow more kale or broccoli necessarily. It's a class that's going to help you discern why you want to farm and how to get to that place eventually in line with your values and goals. So it really leads you through a process step by step to kind of get to that ultimate goal. We're hoping that people who apply just have, you know, a commitment and dedication to full-time or part-time farming, that they are able and willing to participate in it. Maybe 10 hours per month, it may be less some, it may be more some, and just willingness to sort of be a learner and commit to the process that we're in. It says minimum experience of 1 season doing farm or garden work in the last 5 years. I just encourage people to apply, and I sort of look at people on a case-by-case basis. So the class this year is going to be a little bit different than last year. Last year we were completely virtual. This year we're going to do a hybrid training. So we are going to keep the class sessions, what we call the winter sessions, virtual. And that's sort of the whole farm business, financial and marketing and planning. And then we're going to have some in-person events kind of peppered throughout that fall winter piece. And then all of the conferences and production training we are anticipating will be in person. So our craft program this year, which is a sort of a farm tour program, has been in person since I think we started in April. And then we are anticipating that our different conferences we host will be in person, and the mentoring also will be in person. That's a kind of a combination of in-person and remote. So one of the reasons we're retaining the online piece is because that really increased our access last year. We had people participating from a lot of different states, and we want to be able to maintain people having access and not having to drive long distances to participate. So we do offer scholarships for our tuition. And I just sort of detailed out, you know, what we've done in the last few years with scholarships, since often the $3,000 price tag can really kind of turn people off or scare people away. So I would say probably 50% or more than 50% of our participants get scholarship. And then we are also having people from a lot of different states now that are participating in our class. And this is not just from it being virtual. So we have folks from a lot of different states in the Southeast. We've had folks that have English as a second language participate, folks that are suburban, rural, and urban. And then I put some sort of racial demographics. You know, the class historically has been larger percentage of white participants, but we've really increased our participation by Black, Indigenous, and beginning farmers of color as well, and also our presenters. And then we have folks coming from all kinds of fields, which is really cool. You know, Stephanie kind of mentioned coming from the finance field. We have folks coming from nutrition, sales, the service industry, agriculture, journalism, public health, coming straight out of college sometimes, the military, and insurance. So I particularly always enjoy who our cohort is and who's in the class, because that just really adds, it's a very participatory class and people learn a lot from each other, not only in the process of the class, but from their other fields and backgrounds. And that makes the class really rich. So this year we are starting October 24th with an in-person gathering, and then our first virtual class will be October 28th. Classes typically meet once, it's not every week, it's about 3 in a row typically, but on Thursday evenings. It says 6 to 6:30 are office hours, so I open the Zoom and anyone can come in and just chat or ask questions or whatever they need. And then we have the official class from 6:30 to 8:30. And then when we do meet in person, those are going to be more just networking. I might have a few activities, to kind of get people comfortable with each other. But in general, those are going to be more sort of networking events. Okay. So this is a picture. I think this was 2019. So I think the year before you, Stephanie, was actually my smallest class. And yeah, I'd love to just give some time. I had asked Amanda and Stephanie just to kind of speak a little bit about their takeaways from the class and sort of, what value it brought to them. So I will let either of you speak.
I guess I'll go first.
Great. Awesome.
So as I mentioned, we came into Farm Beginnings having left our careers in finance. My husband and I had been gardeners. That's something that we just enjoyed and loved to do in Southern California and also in Denver. So we understand a little bit on that, the West Coast versus coming here. And we had done a permaculture class. So we did our permaculture design certificates, and then we did Farm Beginnings, which it really worked out for us. It was really kind of the final piece of bringing our dream into reality. When we first started Farm Beginnings, we both had off-farm jobs, and we were really trying to do kind of this, do both. And attending the class and going through the work really helped to not only create the space to, just have that time every week where you're just focused on your farm and you're just focused on your dream, and you're working through the holistic goals and enterprise budgets, and you're doing kind of all of these things that really just prepared us to take it to the next level. Now, we started our farm right as the COVID pandemic was starting, and we lost our off-farm jobs. And I think had it not been for Farm Beginnings, we probably would have felt really afraid and kind of fearful in that situation. But we instead, having been going through the course with Nicole, we actually felt really empowered, like, okay, this is the opportunity to really make the farm central to our livelihood and, not worry so much about what we were doing off the farm. And it really just gave us time to focus. We still use tools from Farm Beginnings throughout our throughout the year, throughout just throughout the day, even sometimes. It really helped us to identify what type of farm we wanted to be, how we can maximize the use of our space. It also helped us to find other farmers and collaborators. My mentor from the program has become one of my best friends. I mean, we talk to each other almost every day, and it's been a fantastic relationship. And then other classmates that we had are still friends, collaborators, and even clients. They come visit us at the farmers market and buy our produce, and it's just been a really great experience. I'm happy to give more details or talk about anything more specifically, but really the overall message is that it helped us go from this is our dream to this is our reality, and now the farm is covering the cost of our living and allowing us to do what we really wanted to do. And I'm not sure we would have gotten there so quickly had we not taken this course. So I'm a big fan. And again, happy to answer any more specific questions that you have.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Did you say you're in Marshall?
Yeah, we're in Marshall, North Carolina. Yeah.
Cool. And how much land do y'all have?
So we have 6.5 acres. Right now we are growing on 1/10 of an acre. We did just get notification that we got approved for the NRCS high tunnel grant. So we're gonna get two 50-foot high tunnels that will actually, for our such a small space, it actually will increase our growing capacity pretty significantly. We also have about 1/2 of an acre that we started a food forest, lots of berries and nuts and fruits and perennial herbs. And we know it's going to take a little bit of time before that's really more productive. Right now, it's just about kind of getting that going so that it can go for a long time. But yeah, 6.5 acres total.
Cool. And then our farmers markets are your main way that you get your produce out?
Yeah, so our first season, we did 1 farmer's market on Saturdays. Now we're doing 3 farmer's markets a week. I do Wednesdays in Weaverville, Fridays in East Asheville, and Saturday I'm alternating between Haywood and Hendersonville. So we definitely stepped it up this year from last year. We're in a couple of small retail spaces with our value added products, not our produce. And we also did our plant sale through a small retail location as well.
Cool. Thanks.
Of course, you're welcome.
Yeah, I don't know if Stephanie, if you said your farm name, but it's the Appalachian Farmstead, and they sort of have this trifecta of like plants, produce, and value added.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'll look you up on Instagram.
Yes. And it's
Yeah,
Appalachian grown, Latin inspired. So all of our value added products are mostly Latin inspired sauces and spices. So a lot of salsa and sofrito and adobo and all that good stuff. Really happy that it's to be able to also incorporate my heritage into my farm. And that was actually one of the big things we kind of came to during the Farm Beginnings class, was just being super authentic and genuine to who we are and allowing our heritage to be part of the farm.
Wow, that's so cool.
Thanks, Stephanie. Amanda, would you like to say anything? I know you're not on the other side, but you all have done quite a bit this year. You've done quite a bit.
Yeah, in the last month and a half. Okay, so we came to Farm Beginnings, a story pretty similar to Stephanie's, actually. We had an idea of what we wanted to do. We were making a hot sauce and growing peppers and tomatoes, and thought that maybe we could grow more than what we needed and be like a specialty farm. But we were building decks, and we're looking to try to make a long-term dream a little more tangible. And then the pandemic hit, and we were like, okay, let's really dive into this. Farm Beginnings is online. We can really give this some of our attention while we have time. But we still didn't have land. We live in a very populated area, and any good land is like an hour from us. And we're sort of committed to staying here with my husband's parents, helping them out. So being central to here was very important. We were sort of fantasy shopping late April and found almost 4 acres of land under 20 minutes from the house. And through Farm Beginnings and our holistic goals process, one of our main things was that if we could find land under 30 minutes from the house, we would take it and make it work no matter what happened. And all of the work that we had done in Farm Beginnings let us actually do that. So we signed a lease, started all of the business stuff, all of the farm infrastructure, got seeds in the ground within a month, and hopefully should have some pumpkins and corn and okra and things like that for market this fall just to sort of get our feet wet, going to market before spring, and hopefully we'll be really ready to go by then. I can't say enough good things about Farm Beginnings. We would absolutely not have been able to pull this off if it hadn't been for everything that we had done in the class. The holistic goals, that was amazing, having to sit down and actually talk about what was important and what we valued and what we wanted this to look like. And I don't think we would have been able to do it in the same way on our own. Hearing other people talk about their process, hearing feedback on what we were saying, and hearing how other people are using it on the farm was just invaluable. The enterprise budgets, as Stephanie mentioned, that was probably the most challenging part for me in the course, because I felt like, sort of like you were saying, I felt like a fraud. I was like, well, I don't have anything going on. I'm just going to make some stuff up and like try to see if I can figure out how to look at these numbers. And it actually worked. Like, I understand what an enterprise budget is, and was able to, when the opportunity came up and I was like, okay, what do the numbers look like if we do fall this way? I could do it. It probably wasn't perfect, but I at least got a sense of what our fall will look like. And I'm confident that I can sit down and start piecing together spring here soon. I 100% would have not been able to do that without Farm Beginnings. What else? All the conferences, super, super helpful. I'm in the stage right now where I'm trying to get our brand together. And so I'm going back through not just the presentations that we had on that in class, but the conferences that talked about that, and pulling up all my stuff from that and trying to pull our brand identity together. And yeah, I really just can't say enough good things about the process. And like Stephanie said, happy to answer any questions that are specific.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. Thank you for sharing. Are you still making hot sauce?
Yeah, definitely.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
the value added products, I feel like, are always going to be part of what we do, and we would love to eventually be kind of a specialty farm. But right now, with the opportunities that we have, it seemed like what we could do was take some stuff to market this fall, and what we had time to get in the ground was pumpkins and corn and,
Yeah.
collards and okra. So with the knowledge and the comfort level with things that we got from Farm Beginnings, we were able to make that shift without like a lot of angst. It was like, okay, well, we can do it this way. And it was a really smooth transition.
Nice. Very cool.
Amanda. Thank you for that. It's great to hear your reflections. And also I'm just sort of tickled, Stephanie, about the mentor thing. I didn't know that. Is that Sarah Decker? That's so awesome. I'm so happy for you. So that's great.
Yeah, Sarah and I have become very good friends. Yeah, Sarah Decker. We've become really, really good friends. And I bought garlic scapes from them this season to do our garlic scape pesto, and I'll be buying garlic from them later in the season to do our sofrito. So it's not only been a friendship, but we're also collaborating on products, which is really cool too.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really great. You're lucky. Not all mentor relationships turn out like that, but
I know.
Always my hope. Always my hope. These are just some pictures from the students this year because we were all remote. We did this little like intro-y thing at the beginning of class that was super fun. That kind of located people in their different regions and told everyone a little bit about themselves. So I just thought I'd put a few up there. So kind of like Stephanie and Amanda mentioned, like, there's some key takeaways in the class. There is homework and assignments, and obviously I'm pretty flexible and gentle about that since everyone has very busy lives. But, like they both mentioned, doing the actual thing is going to help you do your farm planning and better position you to get ready to launch. So these are some of the pieces they mentioned: the holistic goal, enterprise planning. We typically do a home budget for folks that maybe have less comfortability with finances and don't have a business yet, looking at how you personally spend money, have money, receive money, just kind of looking at flows of money in and out, and your resources is an important part of any kind of business planning process. We do something called the Growing Season Learning Plan. And that's designed to launch you into your mentorship and into your growing season. If you're doing that, it doesn't mean you actually have to be growing something, but just to help identify where your weak areas are and what you want to focus on learning that season. It could be things with business skills. It could be production things, like I want to learn about compost, and just sort of helps you identify those things and then talk to your mentor about what those might be. And then the marketing how-to, we really rely on our partnership with the Appalachian Sustainable Ag Project's Business of Farming Conference, and they really focus a lot on marketing and branding. And then a lot with business basics, tax ID, business structures, licensing, things like that, just to get the nuts and bolts up. Stephanie mentioned NRCS, Conservation Service, Natural Resource Conservation Service, and that's a great resource for farmers, but you need a farm service agency number, and there's some pieces, but you can access resources if you do those things, and it can really help farmers get a leg up earlier with their business infrastructure. And those are often grants and also some cost shares and things like that. So that could be super useful. And then basically, a farm plan. All of this kind of goes into what we call a farm plan. So some of the pieces that were mentioned. So the Business of Farming Conference happens in February. You're able to attend that as a part of the class. The Organic Grower School Spring Conference, which is a 3-day conference. Then we have our mentoring program, which is 15 hours with one-on-one mentorship. And then our craft program that I mentioned before, that stands for the Collaborative Regional Alliance for Farmer Training. And we have farm tours at least once a month starting in April, and they go through October. This year, I think we only scheduled 5 because we weren't quite sure when we scheduled what the world was going to look like. But that's a place where you get to connect with other beginning farmers, people working on farms, and experienced farmers, and the tours around a certain subject area. This year we've done equipment at Full Sun Farm. We did like alternative energy and high tunnel production in April. We were at a sheep dairy in Madison County, Grassroots Farm and Dairy. And then we're going to go to a no-till veggie farm. I think it's tomorrow, actually, or this week. And then there'll be a indoor mushroom production one in August. So they focus on different farm sort of areas. And then it's a great networking and learning and community building. I mean, that's a huge piece of what we hope to do with the program by having you at conferences, having a mentor, learning from the farmer teachers in the class, is to build your farm community, because that is going to help you succeed and learn a lot faster. We also have a collaboration with Living Web Farms. They offer all different kinds of sustainable living and farming workshops. They are not yet back in person, but we do have students have access to participate in those programs at no cost. And then, of course, you have one-on-one support by myself. And I had a co-facilitator last year. And I'm hoping that she will be joining me again for this coming year. I don't yet have a commitment from her, but she and I co-taught, and it was fantastic. And we give a lot of one-on-one support and feedback through your journey. This is the craft program I was talking about. And then we have spring conference. There's all different kinds of tracks. And as a participant in that, you can go to whatever you want. So if you just want to learn about herbs that weekend, that's what you can do. You don't, we're not requiring that you go to the farming ones. All right. I thought that would be quicker, y'all, but I did my best. But I think we did all the things we need to do. So yeah, I guess Dana, if you have any other questions for us or me about the actual program, how it shows up, what your participation is like, I'm happy to answer those. Or
Sure.
anything else.
Yeah. Well, I guess my first question is, how often are folks in the class and working full time still?
Almost always.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a class designed for working people. So, we switched to every week when it went online, but we have a break about every 3 weeks. And then like, I think in January, I moved a couple dates around because you could tell people needed a break and like we needed a pause. So we try to be a little flexible with that. But, I try to have a gentle approach with assignments, and you're not like writing tomes or anything like that. It's just numbers and research, and your holistic goal, like Amanda mentioned, is probably going to be the hardest because it's the most soul searching piece. But in terms of actually like writing stuff down, it's not that extensive. So yeah, I try to be flexible and really work with people where they are because people have a lot on their plate.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then I think I remember reading that obviously you don't have to have like land. I have a yard where my sheep obviously live in my garden, but it's quite small. Like I don't even know what the measurements are for the garden part because most of it I give to the sheep. And that's okay, that it's really like what I'm working with is tiny.
I completely missed what you said because my audio lagged. I saw your beautiful hand gestures though. So apologies. If you wouldn't mind repeating it again.
Yeah, you can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I was just saying I have a really small garden space since I give my whole yard to my sheep. So is that okay that I'm working with a pretty small area?
Yeah, I mean, we have about, it depends, like 50% of folks in the class, I would say, don't even have land. And like actually Stephanie's class was super unusual. Everyone had land access. Almost everyone owned. But that's not always the case. So, I think what's cool about the class, kind of like Amanda was saying, like, you might come in with this idea and a vision and you have your place, but then it might change and there might be some opportunities that you haven't thought about. So your smaller land base is not, that in and of itself is no barrier at all.
Okay. And then is there any opportunity in the class to learn from folks or to get kind of, I guess, like consultation around purchasing land? Because our hope is to do that. But we have like lots of goals for that land, I guess, that probably are far too ambitious for our bank account. But we, I guess, would appreciate like all the help we could get around that too.
Yeah. There's a few different ways we do that. So we partner with the Southern Appalachian Highlands Conservancy, and they have an incubator farm. So say someone doesn't own land or is not planning to buy land. So we have that partnership to maybe potentially have some land access for folks. And they also do a class with us on land assessment. And Chris Link is a fantastic teacher, and he does this comprehensive presentation to sort of give you the tools you need to make assessments on land for farming. Yeah, Amanda, if you want to say anything about him, I see you're shaking, you're nodding your head, but he was, really great.
Yeah, that was fantastic. We were sort of in the same boat, thinking about trying to find land and not really knowing what to look for at all. And like you said, having all these great ideas of what we wanted in a very tight budget. But between the stuff from the person Nicole was talking about, which was amazing, they showed us all these fully free accessible tools online to like learn how to look at all these different layers of your land, sun and grade and all this really cool stuff. And then yeah, there were just so many different classes that touched on what your land could look like that we really felt well equipped to sort of judge a piece of land when we came across it.
Cool.
And then we also, so actually my co-facilitator this past year just happened to be a real estate agent. That's not always the case. And if they don't come back, we won't have that. But she sort of had that perspective, which was super useful. And we work with NC Farm Link. They're also a partner in the project. And that is for farm seekers and for landowners. And there's actually farmland listed that people want to transition to someone else. And then somebody who's seeking land can look at that. So we kind of talked through all these different resources.
Wow.
Yeah, it's through North Carolina Cooperative Extension. So you just have to put in NC Farm Link. I will say we don't do direct one-on-one consultation in Farm Beginnings, but we have another program with Organic Grower School that does do consultation that, you could access if you are like wanting to find a piece of land or you found one and you want some help assessing it. Does that answer you
Yeah.
completely?
Mhm.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Let me think if I have any other questions.
Just wanted to give a plug for the NC Farm Link. That's where we found our land to lease. So
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
cool.
I did not know that.
yeah.
Oh, you need to tell William that. He'll be thrilled. Or Noah, whoever.
I'm happy to tell whoever it was a fantastic experience.
Oh, good.
Nice. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have any other questions right now.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I hope the other people didn't get defeated by my Wi-Fi problems. But anyway, we had a few other folks interested. So yeah, thanks so much. And yeah, the application is open and live. So if you're interested in doing that, or you have any other questions coming up, just reach out. I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, cool. When is it, I guess, closed or due?
The deadline is September 18th. If you
Okay.
get in by August 1st, you get like a little bit of a discount on the tuition.
Okay.
That's what it looks like.
Okay, sweet. Thanks a lot. I appreciate all of your
Yeah,
perspective.
thank
Really
you. And
helpful.
thanks, Amanda and Stephanie, for sharing. That kind of just made my heart warm. So I just realized when you all graduate, Amanda, I'll have hit 100 beginning farmers that have graduated. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh, that's exciting. You have a bunch of big milestones this year then.
I know, right? That's true. I was just looking
Wow.
at the numbers and I was like, oh my God, it's going to be 100 students this year. That's awesome.
That is very cool. Well, we appreciate you. So thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, good night. And thank you so much. And I look forward to connecting with you more.
Awesome.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Thank you.